everybody. I just made this pendant just yesterday and I posted it up on Facebook, and people liked it. Although some people thought it looked like teeth when I put the magatamas on there, but they don't actually look like teeth now that you can sort of see them for real. It's the reason they looked a bit toothy is because I chose a flattening effect with Instagram when I took the picture. So anyway, here it is, and I'm kind of giving you a three-dimensional look. This is the back. It's an oddly shaped bead. And I'll show you the one that I'll be working on. You see how it's flat, but it's got this kind of, it looks like it's twisted. I don't know if there's a technical name for that or not. So that's part of the challenge, is getting your beadwork to flow with this curve. It's not as easy as if this was a straight lentil bead. So it's got a big hole. I have no idea what the stone is. It came in a bag. These two came together at my favorite bead store that I love to go to. They're wonderful people. But sometimes they have stone that's unmarked. So if anybody out there knows what this pink stone could be, it's like marbled with white, and on this side it's got this little flash of it's almost red with some like magenta right here. It's really pretty, but I have no idea what it is. No clue. And same with this one. I have no idea. I assume it's the same as this pink one, but it's just different colors. They think it might be some kind of an agate, but I'm not sure. It's really cool though. So anyway, I'll show you how to do this, and I'll be back when I get all my gear together here. Okay, so I've counted out one side of beads. There's 30 in this little pile, ignoring the big pile. So what I like to do, because this is a bead with a large hole, I'm going to take advantage of that and not try and treat it like this is a cab, because of the flat, or the lack of a flat back. This curve is challenging. So I'm going to leave a nice tail. So I've passed through once, and I'm going to collect my beads. 1, 2, I'm using a small needle too. I'm using a 12. A little bit thinner, because sometimes it comes in handy when you're using these irregular beads. These are just cheapy 10s, glass beads that you can get at the craft store. So the trick is you don't want your beads to fall in the hole. I've had that happen before, where I've counted something out and then all of a sudden it looks like I have half the beads. It's because they're inside the stone, you see, just like that. So there, you just want it to fold around like so. So I'm gonna then go through here. Flip this over. you're gonna find this process at the beginning to be a little bit fussy. The beads are gonna want to wiggle around on you. Just pull your tail and that'll kind of cinch them in a bit more, like that. But as you work, this will get steadier. But the first couple of rows are kind of wobbly. That's 10, I think. Yep. 10. 10. All right, so there's another 30. And then we pass through the bead again. Oop, one went inside. Oh well, what are you going to do? So, now we have these gaps on the ends where the holes are. That's okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple and go back through. This is where patience is a virtue. I'm holding the tail with this part of my hand and the working thread with kind of folded around my index finger and under my middle finger so that it stays in place a little better. Just to keep that tension. And I'm just going to go through them all. Only a few at a time because it's next to impossible to do it all in one swipe, as nice as that would be. One went in the hole. There we go. Oh, I see a couple did. Oh well, that's okay. We'll reconcile that. Sometimes big holes are a pain in the neck if you're a bead weaver. They're great if you're a wire worker, but a little bit of a pain for the rest of us. Maybe a couple more. That ought to do us. I'm doing this to cover up, see, to cover up the hole so that nobody will know the difference and so that your weaving makes sense. Okay, so it looks like we need a few more right here. and then we can actually get to the weaving part. There. Okay. Ta-da! Now we've got a bead encased in other beads. Awesome. Okay. So now what you gotta do is regular old circular peyote stitch. So I'm just going to pick up a bead, skip a bead, go through, and this is going to happen. It's annoying, but it's a fact of life for this stitch at the moment. It's only wobbly for the first couple of rounds, and then it'll settle down. So we've picked up a bead, skip a bead, pull, pick up a bead, skip one, go through one and pull. There we go. Pick up a bead, skip a bead, go through one, there we go, sorry, and pull. Pick up a bead, skip a bead, go through and pull. And you can see it's already covering quite a bit of the side wall. What you're looking for while doing this is, because this particular bead is like a twisted bead, you're going to end up with an irregular looking weave on the fronts. I'll show you what I mean. I'll put this down. On this one, you'll see it's easy with the back. See, this is the back of it, and you'll see because of the twist in the stone, the fact that it's not straight, you have more beads here and here as opposed to over here and over here. And that's just because of the twist. And so to kind of accentuate that on the front and kind of work with it rather than against it, I just accented the low sides of the curve with these magatama beads just for some fun. And the other sides of the curve I put 3mm bicones, and for this I most of the weaving is cinched down on the back side. Just, I don't know, it makes it look a little more interesting than having it try and wrap all the way up. It was going to be wonky if I tried to wrap everything evenly like you would with a traditional cab. So that's what I did to kind of resolve that. And to kind of hold everything in place, I made these little bars of beads with some 15s just to hold everything a little more securely. And I intend to make a little beaded chain that attaches to these little bales on the sides. But that's the trick with working with these uneven beads that aren't straight, is trying to weave something that can be manipulated into something that you like. So that's ultimately the goal. You don't have to add anything like this if you don't want to. You could use, I plan to, with this next project, I'm going to forego the magatamas, and in their place I'm going to use a larger crystal. I'll use these 3mm crystals like I did here, but I'm going to, instead of these beads, where this part of the bead twists down, I'm going to put some, I don't know, some 4mm maybe? I haven't decided what I'm going to do there. 4mm or 6mm probably. Anyway, that's the deal with that. To kind of work with the shape that you have. I think of this as almost like sculpting. You know, you do all kinds of manipulating and working with what you've got when you are sculpting. Because stone is what stone is, and, you know, not that I'm trying to be all mythological and say that I'm carving away what isn't David. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying that sometimes it's fun to find an object, whether it's a bead like this or something else, and just try and make something work with it and make it do what you want. So I'm going to guess that I need about 7 rounds probably to get up to here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bead up to about here where the stone is at its highest, and then of course if I beat it up to here on this sort of axis, that's going to mean I have lots more beads here because this is where it slopes off. So yeah, I hope this is making some sort of sense and I'm not overcomplicating things. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just keep beating around and around and around, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've done several rounds now. How many did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the purple, and then one round with the 15-degree Miyuki. I think they're called Kelly Green. They're like a matte green. It's really pretty. This is the back. And here's what we've got so far as thickness goes. Now that the back is cinched in and kind of more stable, it's safer to move on to the front. And this is where your tail comes in handy from before. Get rid of these for now. And thread this guy. There we go. So I'm just going to carry on weaving here, but this thread is coming out the hole still that we started with, so I'm going to just kind of scoot over like that into the next bead. I just saw a push notification on my phone here that says somebody named Osimo has challenged me to a duel on Song Pop. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty darn good at that game. It's a silly app for iPhone, and I think Android has it too. It's kind of a habit-forming game if you're a music fan. Anyway, that's beside the point. I am gonna weave. See, I've only added one more bead and it's coming up quite nicely. And this is the downside of the curve. So I don't think I'll need more than one more round of these violet beads, which is cool. So I'm going to just go ahead and finish this round. Just as we've been doing before, you pick up one, skip the down bead, go through your up bead. I'm sure you've figured that out by now. Oops. So I'm going to just do that until I am finished adding that row, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've been around once. So I'll add my 15-degree Kelly green beads. And then we can start kind of decorating a little bit. It's cute on its own, but I don't know. Needs a little something. So that's what I'm going to do, is just add your... Oh, I'm sorry, that's so out of focus. There we go. I'm just going to keep adding these suckers all the way around. And it'll frame this green edge that we have quite nicely. I'm trying to keep the beads kind of away from the front of this bead as much as I can, because most of the interest is in this green, and there's very little of it on throughout the middle here, so I kind of want to accentuate what little accent we have. So that's why I chose these green 15 degrees, and I'm going to try and not make it as foldy as the original one. This one's really foldy because there was really nothing here of interest. Like, these beads are not covering anything of interest. This is the interesting part, this like swoosh right there. So yeah, so that's the plan. That's why I'm doing this compositionally. You have to work with whatever you have. And yeah, just kind of use your bead brain and figure out something that will work technically and aesthetically. That is always what is on the front of one's mind, at least mine anyway, when doing this sort of thing. What will work technically and aesthetically. So I'm going to go around and do this just to cinch everything in a bit, and then we'll be ready to embellish. Okay, I am back with a finished necklace. So I did the chain by making another loop of the green 15s that fit through the loop that's attached to the stone, and then I just beaded with some really irregularly sized 6-degree silver lined clear beads, and then I used purple beads like I used for the weave. And I happened to find this really cute lonely little glass leaf in my stuff. So I thought, oh, what the heck, I'll add it, because it's kind of cute to have a little dangle. And I found this plastic green button, so I made a loop enclosure that way. So ultimately the chain was made in halves. I did this one first I'll show you with the next one that I'm going to do. But you'll see it's all made with fishing line, 10-pound test stuff. So it's really, really cute. I quite like it. And I'll do my other one so you can see what I'm talking about. we're going to do this one. Got my clear beads that I used for the bail loops, and I'm going to use them again, so better grab those. First, for the first half of the necklace chain, I'm going to use this really cute vintage plastic shank button. It's really neat. It's plastic, pink, with this gold ball in the middle. I got it from a button store, believe it or not. There's a button store across town from where I live, and that's what they sell. They have a few other things, but they have this huge room full of buttons. It's the most amazing thing if you're into that sort of scene. If you're not, then it's incredibly boring. It's like stamp collecting, I guess. If you're not into it, you're not into it. So I just threaded through it, and I'm just knotting right here. The monofilament is clear, so we can have a big knot and it won't hurt it. And I'm going to use these because they're my main color in the weave, just like for the pendant that we made together. So I'll use these again. Boo! So, I don't know, I like to string on a few inches of the smaller bead and then another few inches of the larger 6 degree or E bead, just because it would be too clunky to have the whole chain be these little seed beads. I'll show you what I mean. If we had, imagine the whole chain, that's not showing you anything because it is blurry. If you had a whole chain of these and you're coming down through a loop, the size of this thing, it's big, it's 2 inches or so. So it would look stupid to have these little seed beads coming right up into this big, 2.5 inch piece of stone, because it's part of the chain in this design, so it would just look weird, man. Weird. Well, not weird, it would just look off balance. I shouldn't say weird, that's too vague. Can't you tell I've been working on writing lately? So I'm very particular about the words that I pick. So, anyway, you just string these on like you might think, only you don't need a needle because it's 10-pound fishing line, so it's pretty solid. I wouldn't worry about needles. The only problem being, for me, I know not everybody's like this, but for me, when I'm using fishing line, I have to thread it this way with holding the beads in my fingers. I guess that just goes back to the old days when I was a kid and I didn't have bead mats and a place to lay beads down, so I would just grab a bundle in my hand right out of the box and go like this, because I didn't have the right needles either. I had sewing needles. I had sewing needles and sewing thread and random beads that my auntie had, because she fancied herself a jewelry maker and accumulated all these random beads and threw them all into a box when she got tired of it and gave it to me when I was, 12? So that's sort of the story about why I even do this. Okay. How are we doing? Well, we still got a little ways to go. Okay, I will carry on, and I will be right back. Alrighty, here we are. I've strung my purple beads, and I wove the end of my fishing line through. so that it's hidden away nicely. And I strung my silver-lined 6s, silver-lined clear. And I will put 14 of these little clear 15s on the line here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's going to be our loop. So we're going to take this, there we go, and go through like that. And then you take your thread. I like to go through the last 15 and then up through 1 or 2 of the bigger 6 degree, and then pull. And then you've got, like, they're like jump rings made of beads. It's kind of nifty. And then, if this will cooperate, there we go. Make a loop, take your thread or your monofilament, go through the loop a couple of times. And then you can go back through. Yeah. And you can just go back through a little bit. You don't have to go a whole lot long distance, just to hide the end. And pull. And trim. There we go. And for the other side, let's grab this. I'm going to do the same thing, only backwards, because it's easier to start one of these chains if you're making a loop. At least for me it is. Maybe somebody else would say the opposite. But for me, I'm going to start from here. There. I'm going to start. It's like I've added a component on my chain now, and I'm just going to keep going out this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There. Just put those away. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is take my end, go through and there we go. Just go through the loop like last time. Give yourself a bit of tail. And then I'm going to go through the last 15 degree right there. And pull. And that way it's easier to tie it off. Where's my end? Oh, there it is. Okay. It's got all out of control here. Wait a minute. There we go. We're gonna start again. Got loose on me. I hate that. There. Now we've got it. Now we've got it. Loops. So I'll just tie one more knot for security. There. And now I'm going to add 6s and then go back to the purple. Alright, friends. Here they are. All done. Each one with their own little cute little closure with a dangle on it, which is always nice to add if you have leftover stuff. Like this is the last leaf bead that I had, so you know, it's perfect for that sort of stuff. Yeah, keep on doing what you do, and I'll be back in the near future with more stuff. And remember, we're here for a good time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun can shine every day. I really got to stop playing Song Pop. I really, really do. But I just got challenged to another game, so I better go and play. See you later.